Are you perhaps repeating the same patterns again and again, and you're just a little bit fed up of doing this? Well, today I'm going to talk about the power of identity in your mental health and your growth. And if you stay until the very end, I have an extra point for you then. Just a reminder that if you want to connect with me more and follow my content, then you can find me on social media linked in the show notes below. I heard someone speaking about this, one of my teachers, Peter Sage, actually talking about this the other day, talking about the power of identity that he learned from one of my other idols who I don't follow as much at the moment, Tony Robbins. And it was about the power of identity. And I thought it was very, very true. And it definitely rang true in my life. That we do what we identify as. So if you're identifying as someone who's maybe not confident, who's useless, at something, you're going to like hide away from doing that things or shy away from it more often, right? Because we have consistency with our identity. You know, people who say I'm useless will find more evidence in their life why they're useless, even if other people are, oh no, you're not, you're a great person. That person's world is how they perceive it to be. So they will find more ways to demonstrate why they're useless. Now, I don't believe we do this consciously, and I think actually, if I kept finding reasons why asking why I was useless, I would put a lot of people down around me, and I think that'd be a bit selfish. So, what I really want to talk about is that identity is really, really key, and shaping that's really powerful. Now, I created an identity statement. We're going to go into that today, and I read it every single day, twice a day, with power and emotion on things I feel really support me in life that therefore I've made as part of my identity. And it takes repetition, it takes emotion, but I've certainly noticed automatic behavior change. And we can unconsciously, not even realizing it, start behaving in negative ways. If you identify as someone who's rubbish with money, you will start finding ways to blow money, even if you get more of it. I've certainly been that in the past. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not that great at money, and then I get like promotions, I get better jobs. I still find I'd had like the same amount of money at the end of the month. There'd be too much month at the end of the money, right? Um, because I wasn't identifying with that. I've identified many times. I used to identify as someone who wasn't very good socially, and then I changed that. Now I just believe I'll make friends, and therefore I'm very good at socializing with people. So I really wanted to share this the power of identity and the empowerment that you can have or feel in actually being able to change it. Does it really help you when you're like, I'm useless, I'm pathetic, I'm bad at that? Or does it just hinder you and your mental health and your growth? So, here's some questions for you to start thinking about this so you can move forward with this identity shift. Right. First one, what do you want? And therefore, what do you need to believe about you now? So, say you want to have this free life, you want to have like a certain partner, a certain way, all these kind of things. What would you have to believe about you now? And I was like last year, I'll use an example of my life. I put a bit more weight on than I wanted to, and I was like, right, I want to be having a chisel body. So I thought about doing like a challenge, a 75-day challenge, 75 hard. You may or may not come across it. And I started to believe about myself that I could have this body easily. And guess what? I kept acting, and I started getting that body. Now it doesn't just, it's not this stupid woo woo like, oh, I'll think about it and things will change. No, that's not how life happens. You obviously got to do something about it. But I started believing that I could have that body, and it started happening as a result. So, what do you need to believe about you? The second question, what do you currently believe about you? So, if you want to get a certain body, for example, what do you currently believe? Oh, I'm lazy. I'm fat. I can't go and exercise. All these kind of things, right? If you believe that stuff about you, then you're going to be more consistent. Like if you're saying you're lazy, you're going to keep doing that, right? So that's the second, just getting very honest. And then the third one, create an empowering identity statement. Take some of the things off the first question I asked you. What do you need to believe about yourself? And write that identity statement, right? So it starts with I am, and then just say as many empowering words as possible and keep reading it at least twice a day. And I say mine out 10 times with emotion, put some music on and listen to it. And really start embedding that in. And then start looking at evidence why that's true. All right. If you're saying you're a loving human being, well, then start writing evidence of that. Like, well, you are a loving human being because you're alive, and I believe the nature of humans is love, even though it's taken away from a lot of us, and some of us never get there. But write that down for you, right? Um, if you if you like, write just as much evidence and start saying it, start believing it, start feeling it in advance. Okay. Final point I just want to add, but again, a reminder that if you want to connect with me more, I am on social media and I'll leave my links in the show notes below. The final one is find a role model, find someone who's doing or where you want to be, and start role modeling them. What do they believe about themselves, right? If they're a really good musician, that's just a random example that came to my head, and you want to be there, then start writing down what are they doing, what makes them so amazing in what they're doing, right? And what do they believe about themselves? Like someone who's really happy, what do they believe? They believe life is awesome and it's an opportunity. So start writing some of those down and put them into your identity statement. This is just an extra tip. So you can start empowering your identity and then watch how your behavior changes when you really start feeling that identity. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people in your life by working yourself as a man. And remember to lead with your heart, not a fear.